Right. Thank you all for joining again. This week we don't actually have a guest, which is actually by my request. So the past couple of weeks we've had, very high intensity, um, very high intensity webinars with some really, really powerful guests coming on board and sharing their insights on the industry and on working at a corporate versus working at a small business versus working for your own business. And there was a lot to unpack, a lot to take in with those webinars. But this week, I wanted to slow down, take a step back, and focus on something a lot more, not a lot more important, a lot closer to home. Something that we tend to overlook. So this week, we have the perfect opportunity. It's just you and us again. And so I thought it was a perfect time to cover this. Um, this is something that's really, really important to everyone, whether you're in the IT space or, regardless of the industry you're in, it's so, so very important. And people tend to overlook it and neglect it a lot. Um, I know personally I do at times, and I know for a fact that most of you are doing this as well. And that is neglecting your personal health and well-being. Um, you know, we often, not consciously, but subconsciously, we assume that our bodies are like machines. As long as you just feed it food and caffeine, you can just keep pushing it as far and as hard as you want. Um, So you wake up in the morning, you have your breakfast, you get to work or to school or open your studies, push all the way through to the evening, hop in bed, wake up the next morning, and you just keep doing this thing repeatedly over and over and over again. But the fact is that our bodies are actually really, really sensitive things, unfortunately. And if you want to be productive, you want to be successful, you want to be happy and successful, you have to take care of this thing. Um, And most of the people I know, talk to, including myself, are responsible for neglecting this. And it can have terrible, terrible consequences. It can lead to you being more stressed than you really should be. It can lead to you getting all sorts of health problems. And so it's important to just in the chaos of everyday life, in whether you're studying or you're working, it's important to take a few minutes a day just to look after yourself, right? And make sure that your body, your vessel that you are going through life in remains in a good condition, right? So today I just want to talk about a few points, a few things that everyone I think should do, just to make sure that their bodies are happy and healthy and mentally you are well off, and you're not going to be heading towards any disasters. And these are examples or pointers rather from my own personal life. This is pointers that my father gave to me, especially when I started working. And over the years, as you grow and mature in your space, you realize just how valuable these things can be. So yeah, there's 6 points. And I just want to walk them through it, right? Walk you through them. I want you to take notes, right? Although this isn't the regular webinar we do where we're giving like hard advice on careers or on studies, this is just as important, right? So take a note of all of these points and make a checklist out of it. And every day, every week, go back to it and um, make sure that you are living up to these. Um, And yeah, that's that way you'll make sure that you're always happy and more importantly, healthy. So point number one, right? And this is particularly important for you guys who are in this meeting, is to take a break from technology once in a while, right? Close your laptops, turn off your phones, just take a break for a second, right? And I know, but by saying this point, I kind of sound like my parents. All the time you're young, you're always on the phone, you're glued to your screens. You should go outside once in a while. Well, it turns out that along with many, many other things in life, they were right about this. It's not just that it's bad for your eyes, but it's bad for your mental health as well. Now, why I say especially for you guys is because, look, you are studying and your studying is done on a computer, right? You're going to be working in the future. Some of you are already working, and your work is also on a computer. And with the way things go, with most people, in your free time, you're, on your phone, on social media, on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, scrolling away for hours through there. Um, I'm not going to say that it's bad in its entirety. Um, I'm not going to say that you should give up social media entirely, but for a few minutes a day, just switch it all off and I don't know, go outside or read a book or something like that. Detox for a little while. Um, because like when you constantly have these screens in front of you, it subconsciously affects your stress levels, your anxiety. You find yourself getting more anxious, especially if you're already stressed out about something, and then just to go straight from that and scrolling for an hour or so on social media, it's gonna negatively affect you, even if you're not aware of it at the moment, but it does weigh down on you. So, something that you can try, right? For the next week, especially after work and before bed, make that a no tech time, no social media, no YouTube, nothing, right? Read a book if you want to, especially before you sleep. Like maybe 20 minutes or so before bedtime, switch off your phone, open up a book, read it. And I guarantee it, you'll have a much, much more pleasant sleep and a much more restful sleep. Um, it's just that gadgets and social media, it plays on your anxiety and your stress levels in a way that you're not immediately aware of. But once you remove it from your life, even for that little while, just for 20 minutes a day, you'll see the big difference. So that's point number one. Switch off your gadgets once in a while, just for a few minutes a day. Second point is to learn and upgrade your knowledge, right? Now, this is a point that we talk about in some of the other webinars, how in order to stay ahead of the curve and progress through your career, you need to constantly be learning. That's true, but that's not why I'm mentioning it here in this webinar. Remember, this one is all about just looking after yourself and your mental state. Why it's important to learn is that it brings in new ideas and new insights into your life. It brings in fresh perspectives on how to deal with problems and issues in your everyday life. It kind of spreads your horizons mentally. And that's important is because if you don't learn, if you're not pushing yourself constantly, you kind of stagnate in one spot, and then you start feeling like you're in this box, and this box just every day that goes by, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and it starts getting hard to breathe in there, and you'll find yourself, just feeling like every day is the same. You're going through the same motions on a daily basis. Some of you might even feel this way. Working from home or studying from home, this can happen a lot easier. So learn, update yourself, and that's going to help you to get a new perspective on life, get a new ways of dealing, better ways of dealing with issues, and it's just going to help you feel like you're moving. It's going to actually help you move though. So learning is not just good for expanding your career and climbing to new levels in your career, but for your own mental health as well. It's very, very important. So you don't feel like you stagnating. So that's point number two, right? Number one, turn off your social media once in a while. Number two, learn. Keep on learning. Number three, clear your mind once in a while. I guess a way of putting this is embrace spirituality, right? Depending on your personality or your personal preferences, your religious beliefs, everyone goes about it differently, right? Some people, get more religious, some people meditate, some people do yoga. But what it means is just clearing your mind, all of the noise and the chaos about everyday life, and just being aware of yourself, of your body. I sound like a crazy person, like a hippie talking about this, but it's helpful, trust me, right? Just close your eyes even and just focus on nothing. Let your mind just be free for a minute, right? Um, we'll put it like this, right? We view our minds as machines, right? It's like an engine, right? And from the time you wake up, this engine is running and it's running and it's running and it's running. And when you leave an engine running too long, it overheats, right? Whether just taking a driving to work, or whether you're on a road trip, whether you're just taking a cruise at the beachfront, doesn't matter. That engine is still running regardless, and it's gonna overheat. So sometimes just put it in neutral and idle for a little while, and let all of those, the temperature and the water and the oil level, temperature levels cool down for a bit, right? And it'll go a long way. Uh, thanks for that, Daniel. It's good to know. Um, then point number 4, this one is more straightforward. It's a very easy one to do, but a lot of people overlook it, and it's just your general self-care and self-help things. Basically, it's 3 things: eat well, sleep well, and exercise. Eat well, I mean, eat your meals regularly, consistently, and eat healthy things, right? For breakfast, put the cereals away for a while, have something like eggs, something nutritious, something that's going to make you feel good, right? And don't skip meals. I know personally, when I'm stressed about something, or if something is playing on my mind too heavily, I tend to skip meals, and that's a terrible, terrible thing to do. Again, our bodies are not machines. They are very delicate, very sensitive things, and you need to look after it. You need to give it the right nutrition it needs to get through the day, especially if you're going to go into a stressful day where you're going to need all your energy. It helps to have a full tank of gas. So don't skip meals and don't fill your tank with junk, right? Again, I sound like my parents. But you know what? They were right about a lot of things. You got to eat healthy to avoid like overly sugary foods, especially early in the morning. Have wholesome, nutritious meals, and it'll have a good effect on you for the rest of the day. And the third micro point in this point is exercise. Even if you just go for a little walk or a jog, do some push-ups and sit-ups here and there, it goes a long, long way, and it contributes in a massive way to looking after your body, especially again for people in our industry, because we tend to sit down a lot for most of the day. And so to just get your blood pumping and get some activity, get your muscles moving again, it is not difficult to see how important and how beneficial that would be. So that's point number 4, right? Point number 5 is to get someone to talk to, right? You don't need to go through all of your battles and challenges alone, right? Either a mentor or a friend or a business partner, just someone you know who's in the same industry. It helps in a massive way to have someone to talk to. If you have ideas you want to bounce off them, if you have a challenge that you need some fresh perspective on, um, if you're just having a really bad day and want to vent to someone, it helps, right? To get it all out and get a fresh perspective on it. And sometimes, just talking about it to someone else helps you put things into a new perspective and helps you make sense of your situation. Like sometimes just talking about it, and suddenly all of that chaos in your mind is silenced, and you can see a solution now that was otherwise obscured with all of that chaos and noise in your head. And it just helps you to come to these solutions a lot quicker. So get someone to talk to, right? Especially if you're really wound up and stressed out about something. Don't keep it all bottled in. That's a terrible, terrible idea. Talk to someone about it, right? And get some advice if you need. Azra asks, those who are new, do we have a group? Yes, there is a group. There is a Slack group that we use for most of our communications with students. And if you want to get in touch with some of your fellow students, the link to join that Slack group is in all of your modules. So just check on when you access one of your courses in the right-hand side of your screen. There's that little pop-out bar with the link to join. There is also a WhatsApp group. Null isn't in this meeting. She has the invite link for that, but I'll get her to send it out to you guys as well, or to post it on the Slack even, so you guys can join that as well. If you have any other questions or suggestions even for some of the other students, just put it in the chat and we'll go through that in a moment. All right, and the final point on your journey to looking after yourself and looking after your physical and mental health is to get a hobby, right? Preferably something not related to IT or tech, something that you don't do on your phone or your laptops. I know a lot of guys, I mean, including myself, like to game in my free time. But get a hobby that's separate from that, whether it's woodworking or gardening, whatever it is, pick up something that allows you to close your gadgets and just focus on something else entirely. This is important because you get a break from your gadgets, which was point number one. But it's also important because it enriches your life. It's a change of scenery, something else to be passionate and to pour your creativity into. And I think it's just a change of pace, which everyone needs once in a while. Running the same gauntlet over and over and over again every day is terrible for you, right? You're gonna get burnt out and you're gonna get fatigued, and for like a week or so, you're just gonna crash. And that's not a comfortable or healthy place to be in. And if you find yourself landing in these, like if what I'm saying isn't new to you, if you've experienced this before, you've had these moments where you just crash and you don't want to do anything, you don't want to talk to anyone, you just want to sulk around and sit around for a few days, then you know what I'm talking about. And it's more important for you to start implementing some of these changes. They're just basic things. I mean, you don't have to make these drastic changes to your lifestyle. It's just these small little tweaks here and there, taking out a minute or two here and there just to focus on one of these 6 points. And you'll see it'll go a long, long way. And you'll be a lot happier, you'll be a lot more productive, you'll be a lot more creative. Remember, again, bottom line is our bodies and our minds are not machines. So you can't treat them like machines, just feed fuel in and expect them to run on endlessly as far and as hard as you need to. You have to look after them, right? And we tend to neglect this a lot when we get sucked into our everyday lives, our work and our studies. We neglect this in a big, big way. But that's something you should never ever do. And with these simple 6 points, you can make sure that your body is well looked after and your mind is well looked after, and you'll be healthier and happier than normal. Guys, let me know if you have any questions or if you enjoyed this session. A little bit shorter than the ones we normally do, but that's not a bad thing. Once in a while, it's nice to just have a simple conversation about this. The webinars are a good analogy, a good analog for how we go about life. The past, I think, probably 6 or 7 weeks have just been crammed filled with high intensity guests and topics, and we never realized that we needed to just take a step back and have a conversation one-on-one for a little while. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If there's no questions, we'll end this session here for today. Thank you all so much for joining. I do hope that you enjoyed the session. Oh, we have a question that came through. I have a question. So I have a lot on my plate and I'm moving quite slow with my course. If I'm still busy with the course after the 12 month, would this affect anything in any way where my course is concerned? No, no, it's not. It won't necessarily affect your grade. See, so technically, although it's a 12-month course and we advise you to try and finish it within 12 months, from the CETA's point of view, you have, I think 18 months to finish the course. So you do have some time above and beyond the 12-month mark. So if you do need to take extra time, perfectly fine. Um, if you need to go beyond the 18-month mark, though, just let us know. Again, it's not a train smash. We're just gonna have to submit an explanation for that to the CETA when we submit your portfolio for assessment and moderation. They just basically want to know, like, what was the reason that you took so long to finish the course. So it could be anything like you were moving houses or in between jobs, or your work was really, really difficult for a time. So yeah, we just have to put that in writing and submit it to them. How long does the certificate take from time of completion? Good question, Jade. It depends. Sometimes in a couple of weeks we get the certificate, sometimes it takes a few months. See, so the way the process works is once you complete, we take your portfolio and we submit it for assessment and moderation. So this is done by external consultants, right? We hire some accredited assessors and moderators to come. They just look through your profile, make sure you submitted all of your assessments correctly, make sure that the grades that we gave you were fair. And then they'll put a report on that. Now that normally happens within a week or two of you completing your course. So that's almost instant. The long part comes after that, where we then take the reports that we got from the assessor and the moderator and submit it to the CETA for verification. Now, once that happens, it's basically out of our hands and we just wait on the CETA. The only thing we can do is just continuously following up with them. And unfortunately with them, it takes a long, long time sometimes for them to work through all of the requests they get to get us our certificate. So we try to push them and get ours as fast as possible, but yeah, sometimes they just take way, way longer than we would like. But what we can do in the meantime is once your assessment and moderation is completed, we can give you if you're like in a need of your certificate for this purposes of applying for a job or furthering your studies, we can write up a letter stating the outcomes of the assessment and moderation processes and the qualification that you completed, and simply stating that all that's left is done is to get your certificate from the CETA, which we still waiting on. Uh, when we are having the video call with Ronaldo and other students, it was postponed the last time. Do you mean the weekly orientations that happen on Tuesdays? I think this week may have been postponed, but those run every Tuesday. I forgot the time exactly, but you can just drop Noel an email and she'll send you the updated link or the link with the time. William asked, when do we get a job? Can we get a job while we're still doing the course, or do we have to complete the course first? Up to you, Daniel, honestly, and up to your employer. Honestly, I would. It's not just possible, but I would recommend getting something started while you're still studying. It just helps in terms of experience. And so once you graduate and get your certificate, you're already on your way, rather than just waiting to get your certificate and then starting. And it's an online course, so you can stagger your study and work times. You can work or you can study in the evenings, afternoons when you get back from work. It's possible. It's a very flexible course in that sense. So it's yeah, take advantage of that and absolutely get something going. I think once you guys pass the 6 month or the 6 module mark, I believe it's module 6 or module 7, when you do the WordPress module. from that point on, I would say you are absolutely ready to go out and get employed. So yeah, definitely put yourself out there from the get-go. They told us that IT Varsity provides us with jobs or gets jobs for us. So when will that be? So with that arrangement, it's with the Youth at Work. They're an organization that specializes in getting jobs and internships for young South Africans. We're finalizing our agreement with them. So that'll get started within a couple of weeks, hopefully, within a week or two even. And yeah, once you with them though, there are a few requirements. So when you're closer to completing the course, we'll submit your portfolio to them and get you get them to start sending out your CVs to any potential employers they have. So that's what we'll do from our side. We are also negotiating with a few others that do a similar thing, but those are still in very early stages of discussions. Um, but on top of that, it's also very helpful for you guys to explore your own networks, put together your CVs, your portfolios, and send that out on your own as well. Tap as many avenues as possible, and that's just going to increase your chances of actually getting something. Any update with the App Academy? Still nothing. Still nothing. We're still waiting on the sponsor to give us the go-ahead. I know, I feel you 100%. We are so on edge about that. Every day I wake up, check my emails for for that notification that we got the go-ahead. But yeah, we're still waiting on that. All right, guys. I think we'll leave it there for today. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out on either email or WhatsApp or on Slack, and I'll try to get to you as soon as possible. But other than that, thanks for joining and have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye, everyone.